I'm talking to my friend David Dayen, DaveDayen.com, on Twitter at DDayen. I actually want to talk about another article that you wrote recently, and it's about everybody's favorite horrible Attorney General, Eric Holder. I'm going to let you lay it out because you have a very modest proposal for our Attorney General.
Yes, I do. We're in this cycle where we've seen one after another these settlements that the Justice Department has put together, mostly over these mortgage-backed securities deals that proliferated during the crisis. There was a settlement against J.P. Morgan Chase. Now, this week, there was one against Citigroup. And the popular narrative in the media is that this represents some newfound aggressiveness on the part of the Justice Department. They're really going after these things. But in reality, I almost wish that he just stopped already, because I think the illusion of accountability is almost worse than no accountability at all at this point, because he's setting a baseline that justice is described with these cash settlements that have no prosecutions for misconduct, of course, where a good deal of the money is done and given as a civil penalty to the Justice Department. So it's really just a cash grab on the part of the Justice Department. And you know this because Citigroup initially offered $7 billion, with $3.6 billion of it going to the Justice Department. And the Justice Department said, no, that's insulting. Then Citi came back and say, all right, we'll still give you $7 billion, but the Justice Department will get to keep $4 billion of it. We'll up our ante in the terms of the penalty, the Justice Department. The Justice Department like, oh, okay. All right.
Oh, man.
So it's just a cash grab.
Yeah.
It's really just, it does nothing other than lower the national debt, right? I mean, that's the only benefit here. And I'd rather tax the executives themselves at the banks rather than tax their shareholders by allowing them to pay their way into immunity. The other thing is that who are the victims in these mortgage-backed securities deals? The victims are the investors who purchased the securities under false pretenses and then took major, major losses.
Yeah.
So if you're going to prosecute with a civil penalty, you would think at least some of that money would go to
the victims,
the investors, the victims. Well, they get nothing in these deals. In the Citigroup deal, a substantial amount of money goes to the Justice Department, as I said. Another chunk goes to homeowners, which, I don't begrudge giving homeowners anything. Yeah. But in this case, the punishment is not fitting the crime. Investors who got ripped off in these mortgage-backed security deals because of fraud are not getting retribution or restitution. And it's worse than that, because one way you could give them restitution indirectly is by forcing Citigroup to explain exactly what they did, lay out the facts of the case, and that could help in private litigation, and they would have that as a backup. But in fact, most of the statement of facts is kept secret in the Citigroup deal. They did not have to admit wrongdoing, and nothing that they gave in the statement of facts would be actionable in private litigation. It's just that they said, well, they did something, but we're not going to really tell you what it is. So it does no good for the investors who were victimized in this case.
It really is just, I actually say that's, probably 1 and 2 on my list of the horrors of the Obama administration coming from a progressive, is lack of action on climate change, and then the Justice Department and the handling of Wall Street are like kind of my 1 and 2 things. There's more drones and all that stuff, but those 2 are the ones that just is like, man, you should know better on both of these things.
Yeah, absolutely, and they do know better, but the nexus between Washington and Wall Street is one that has not been broken, and certainly there's a worldview and a mindset on the part of the economic team is that what's good for Goldman Sachs is good for America, and you can't, the too big to jail argument I think still plays here, because they somehow think that they're doing a service by getting slightly larger settlements in terms of cash that goes to them,
right,
of course, because who are the biggest victims of the financial crisis? The Justice Department.
Well,
right?
In fairness, we have been on their tails quite a lot and complaining about it. So maybe
they need money for PR.
Exactly.
To protect themselves. It really is just a PR maneuver. It's giving the illusion of toughness. But now, what is the baseline when there's future misconduct? The baseline is, well, you get a big cash settlement that you can explain at a podium, almost like with a big novelty check.
Yeah.
And it's not, the real accountability in terms of putting the people that committed the crimes in jail never gets discussed. And aggressiveness is now, modeled by how many zeros are behind the dollar signs. And it's so it's like this corrupt bargain that's being done. One side's getting cash and the other side's getting immunity. And the public ends up suffering because I don't think it's going to be a deterrent to any future crime that might be committed.